Hey guys, sorry I was asleep for so long. I guess I really let myself go, didn't I? Anyways, how are y'all doing? What's up guys, I'm back. Back from being dead on social media, that is. Anyway, I know why y'all are here. You're here because you want to listen about what's been going on in my life for the past 1 year and 11 months since my last video before I vanished and why I've come back now. Well, before I go into details, here's how I will format the information. There will be 3 parts, the first being about what stopped me from uploading and why I went silent. The second part is about why I've decided to come back and what I plan to do next regarding YouTube. Lastly, the third part is about anything else to note on. So without a further ado, let's dive in, shall we? After I released my video titled A Healing Build in Dead by Daylight because I'm dumb, I realized a serious problem: I couldn't keep being original. Before I get into why, I should first explain that if you watched my What Happened to Gamer 104 video, you should know that ever since I stopped making Battle for Neighborville content, my only clear options were Apex Legends and Dead by Daylight. Now here's the problem: as much as I liked those games, I was hesitant with my choices considering that both games have a lot of impressive content creators that could do everything better than me. They could make better thumbnails, edit much more impressively than me, and even perform much better than me in the game. Knowing how I hated being unoriginal by following what the superior ones did and how I was hesitant with spending lots of money on a better editing software for a future I had low self-esteem in, I knew my YouTuber future would be grim. Time would tell considering my content following afterwards was shorter, more unnoticed than my BFN videos, and giving me less satisfaction than when I was making BFN content. Even if I did have 2 lucky breaks in viewership, nothing was tangible. Seeing as this trend of making content out of scraps of originality didn't work out the way I wanted it to, I gave up. I stopped making videos and also stopped being present on Twitter and YouTube to even make tweets or comments as I was too embarrassed to make an appearance when I knew I failed my audience. I did however continue to use Reddit, which ultimately became my main source of content creation. Now hearing this, you would have expected me to also say that school and the upcoming challenge of college also played a factor. To that, you would be right, but they were just obstacles stalling for time compared to the demoralizing hurdles of expectations. Yet, during my absence, I had lots of ideas of how I could revive my YouTuber career. Hell, I even wrote down notes for an unused Twitlonger tweet detailing how I would do such that, which was coincidentally last updated almost exactly a year ago. Yet, I was too scared to make a move. Until now. Now's the time to answer the million-dollar question: why did I come back? The answer was that I reached a sort of breaking point of my life. As an 18-year-old on summer break before I go to college, I didn't have much to keep me busy for the long term. Sure, I could have gotten a temporary job, but I was never put in a position from my family to where it was needed. I've also been super bummed out about video games since my 2 favorite ones don't feel as fun anymore, especially since they both have their own problems that drive me away further. So in my position, the only other answer I could find was to go back to being a YouTuber. At least then, I could be doing something that matters that I know other people would like. When I made that decision, I was ready to face those damned expectations that haunted me and the potential to spend a lot of money. Surprisingly though, by the time I came back, Filmora 9 upgraded enough times while I was gone to become Filmora 12, which has become more adequate for me and is the reason why I was able to pull off some editing tricks in my recent video that I would have never been able to do almost 2 years ago. I also have a long time before this free year-long subscription from having a lifetime license in the past wears off, so it is opportune to make the most out of it while I can. With that out of the way, here's this plan I've concocted for my future YouTuber career. The major aspect about it is one that I thought I would never do since this channel's inception. A second YouTube channel. The channel is called Ambiguous G4, which is actually derived from one of the many potential gamer tags I thought of that would go on to replace my old one, Gamer 104. As for the channel itself, it won't have humorous content like my first one does. Rather, it will have different types of content including discussions, balance change concepts, and other ideas for what I would change in video games. Of course, I may include other forms of content to put into the second channel, but only time will tell. Before I continue, I should now announce that a link to the second channel can be found in the description below. With that, let's continue. The channel is important to me as it can serve as a place where I can make several discussions based on my work on Reddit, which means that I can share my work from there with more people and gain meaningful attention whilst doing so. It can also serve as more opportunities of what I can do in case I reach another roadblock on my first channel. Now, while I'm very excited with making content on the second channel, just remember that I still may produce content on this one as well. This is because I've realized over time that people could care less about originality and that they care more about if they have a certain feel for types of YouTube channels. As such, I'm not as scared to be unoriginal as before, because at the end of the day, all that matters is that people like you for what you are and not if you're extraordinary. To wrap up this video, I'm going to say a few final things. Firstly, while I may sound enthusiastic about being a YouTuber again right now, I don't know how much this will change when I get into college. It might not change or it may drastically change, so only time will tell for certain. Lastly, I want to personally thank all of you viewers that stuck around waiting for me. I'm sorry I haven't been the most faithful YouTuber to my audience, so I'm very generous that the ones that returned still see hope in me. And to all the new viewers as of recently from my previous video, I want to thank you for potentially giving me a chance as being your backup supplier in the funny and beyond that. That's all I have to say here. Thank you and goodbye for now.